Welcome to the channel, My Life in Questions, where I discuss, comment, and explore the bizarre questions that pop into my mind about history and personal events. In today's episode, we analyze the question, what if 9/11 was caused by a high-priced hooker? The story will be told by blending stories from the hijackers out of Boston and Newark, New Jersey. According to reports, prior to September 11th, the 9/11 hijackers went to a go-go bar in Elizabeth, New Jersey, courted a prostitute in Boston, and even left a copy of the Quran at the Pink Pony, a nude theater in Daytona. Prior to 9/11, al-Shihi, the religious theologian of the group, would send $26,000 back to al-Qaeda. According to reports, the Johns, looking for a good time prior to the attacks, were the hijackers for both Flight 11, which would crash into the North Tower, and Flight 175, which would crash into the South Tower, piloted by the same terrorists who would send back $26,000 to al-Qaeda. How could this story have unfolded? Let's dramatize these events. The hijackers out of the Boston area are in their hotel room at the Milner Hotel. Are they watching TV, which prompts the urge to look for a prostitute? The idea has to come from al-Shihi, as he was one of the lead hijackers. They discuss the pros and cons as well as the complication with their religion, which they claim to hold near and dear to their hearts. So here they are at the strip club drinking beer and maybe even getting a private dance with limited funds. The go-go dancers must not have been enough because they still follow through with the attacks. In Boston, the hijackers negotiate with a prostitute. The friendly negotiation turns sour when the woman stands firm on her prices and is unwilling to adjust her rates. The negotiations continue but turn to anger, sadness, and regret for turning over $26,000 to al-Qaeda. Do the guys negotiate a half and half and other menu items available to them by the women? So the guys stay in their room for the night preparing for the next day. They express their anger and their frustration with having to go through an attack without any sexual gratification. The men wake up on September 11th and shave their body hair to leave the world the same way they came in. They remove their body hair as a requirement to fulfill their act of terroristic martyrdom. They arrive to the airport, go through security. Keep in mind, some of the hijackers did not have identification, could not answer security questions, and were still allowed to board the planes on 9/11. The hijackers would use a similar seat arrangement of placing the pilot in the center. Two muscle hijackers would attack the cockpit, take out the flight attendant in a show of force, before calling the lead hijacker to assume control of the plane. Mace would then be used to subdue the passengers as reported by Betty Ong, a flight attendant on Flight 11. Years later, and there is little known about the prostitute and the go-go dancers. Now, these women find themselves in an investigation trying to figure out who these hijacking Johns were. The prostitutes have no idea about the ramifications of their actions. This prostitute reflects back on that night, replaying the negotiations and stern priceless. Upon reflecting, she thinks about the what if. What if she satisfied the urges of these men? Does 9/11 unfold the same way? The woman becomes upset about not living up to her patriotic obligation, which, of course, she was unaware of. She becomes upset as the authorities criticize her decision and extract information. The lingering issues regarding the question, did a prostitute cause 9/11 are, what if the prostitute was just $50 lower? What about the hotel maid staff that enters a bathroom to find pubic hair all over the floor? Does she report this to her boss? What if al-Shihi used the $26,000 to satisfy his sexual desires? What requests did these men have in mind? Were their requests so outrageous that she felt the need to charge higher? What if al-Shihi fell in love and became whipped? Does he just forget about al-Qaeda? If the sexual urges of the 9/11 hijackers were satisfied, do they wake up for the 9/11 attacks? Lastly, I want to reiterate that this dramatization of the days before 9/11 combined factual actions from the 9/11 hijackers on Flights 11, 175, and 93. But the question remains, was 9/11 caused by a prostitute? Thank you for watching. Like, subscribe, and comment.